All right, you guys, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic, I want to talk about women flipping the script after marriage. So, I got to tell you guys a story. I like to start with a story. I have a friend, a straight white male friend. Him and I meet up every now and then. He's an academic. We like to talk about life. We like to talk about our changing beliefs, our changing thoughts about life. We talk about what's happening around us on a global scale and just where we think everything is going. Very great discussions. So when we meet up, he likes to also talk to me about what's going on with his girlfriend, who is his now wife. And ever since he met that girl, he's been like kind of feeding me negative things about this woman, and seeing things like, hey, she wants to change the way that I dress. She wants to change the way that I interact with my family. She doesn't want to stay with my relatives when we're in Idaho. Like, just she doesn't want to get along with his program. And it seemed like I told him, hey, things will get better when you get married. Like, maybe you guys can talk this stuff out, work it out, come up with a deal before you actually get married. And it turns out they never did. Like, he never approached the topic. He just kept everything inside and just, kind of vented to me about it. So sure enough, I kid you not, this couple got married, and things got worse for him. Like, before they got married, she promised him, hey, I'm not going to ask you to get a new job. You just got tenure in this city. Like, I'm not going to ask you to ruin it by moving to a more entertaining city where there's a lot more things to do. And sure enough, like, I would say weeks after the wedding, he told me, look, man, she's already begging me and pressuring me to leave this job and apply for jobs elsewhere. If you know any professors, that's not an easy task. Like, he's an English professor too. It's not easy, it's difficult to do that stuff. So I feel bad for the guy. Like, I feel bad for anybody who, lays out clear boundaries and expectations with their partner before marriage, then have those boundaries and expectations completely flip and change after the marriage. So what I want to say to men about this stuff is, because I noticed that as men, you cannot tell women to change their habits, to change their behaviors, to change their diet. Even like, they'll get upset if you even ask them to change basic things about themselves, but they have no problem asking you to change things about yourself. So my basic piece of advice that I gave to him was, you need to hang on to your boundaries, your expectations. Whatever you promised her in the beginning, it needs to stay the same, right in this moment in time. But the biggest mistake he's making is he's not following my advice. Like, he's just allowing her to run the show. And I have such deep concerns about that. Like, every now and then, me and my husband, we will watch true crime episodes. And like, you hear about men just being desperately unhappy in the relationship or the marriage, and then they end up doing something that they regret or something that they can't take back. And like, man, like, I hate to say this, but that couple reminds me of the couples that I see in these episodes. And I try to tell men, like, look, you have to be clear about what you want in this life. You have to be upfront with your partner, and you have to trust them with the truth. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up and you're setting them up to fail. So men, we have to do a better job of literally being honest about what we're feeling inside and what we want. Because I truly feel like women, if you don't speak up for yourself, they will run all over you. That woman is changing the way that he dresses. Like I told you, she's changing everything about this man that he kind of like clung on to. Everything is changing. And I wonder, what is his reaction going to be 5 years from now? They're older now. They're my age. Excuse me. They're older than me. Almost 40. So what about kids? Like, are they planning to have kids? Because she's reaching that 35, that murky threshold where you can't have a child anymore. So it's like they have this bad situation in their marriage, and now they're about to potentially bring children into it. It just seems like a recipe for disaster. So yes, women, they do flip after marriage. And I think every man should be prepared for that. Every man should be prepared to stand on his boundaries, his foundation, whatever he's built for himself. Stand on it, protect it, and let her understand that she needs to get on program with you. Need to get on code with you, because if she's not and she wants to run the show, she probably needs to find a different man. Like, point blank period. Find a different man. Because that's where we're happiest. We're happiest controlling our little kingdom. We're happy in solitude. We're happy with peace. You know, like we don't need much. And I think a lot of people don't like that about men, or they're jealous about men for that. It's because we don't need much. We don't need all this fancy decorations. Like we just need a couch, a TV, probably a game system, some utensils, food. Like we're very basic. We don't need all this extra stuff. So anyhow, that's my spiel about women changing as soon as you get married, and just be on the lookout for that, you know, because it's going to happen. It's going to flip. And people do, you know, they have a right to change, but you can also resist some of the change they're trying to put on you by simply standing up for yourself, man. Like, just no need to complain to me. Just stand up for yourself, you know, period. It's just a woman. Stand up for yourself. There's another point about his story that I want to kind of touch on before I go. I kind of think my friend is a white supremacist, and it's because I'll talk about this later. I don't want to go into detail, but I kind of feel like he's a white supremacist. And although he may be one, him and I are still cool because I understand different people have a right to exist. Like, he has a different mentality than I do. And as long as you're not physically or trying to like mentally, emotionally harm me and my husband and in our household, I'm okay. Like, I also don't want to see you harming other people of color, other minorities that you feel like you are above. You know, just be cool with your thoughts, keep it to yourself, you know, do what you do with other white supremacists if that's who you are, but don't don't try to harm other people. That's what I'm trying to say. Just don't harm other people. So I feel like he may be a white supremacist. And the girl that he ended up linking up with is biracial. Like, her father is white, her mother is black, but she looks like a black woman. You know, like, this is not, she looks like I would say a very fair skinned, but you can kind of tell is a black woman still, you know? So that's what she looks like. And I noticed that he likes to mention that she's not the stereotypical Midwestern good girl, and just, you know, be negative about it. And I don't know if his negativity is because she's flipping the script after the marriage, or if the negativity is the fact that she does not fit his expectations of who he thought he should have married, you know? I definitely feel like he thought he was going to marry a white woman, but it didn't happen. So it's like he is where he is, and he's unhappy. And I feel bad about that because a lot of men are just strictly unhappy in their relationship and where they are. And, you know, you don't have to be, you really don't have to be, or just try to find something good about your partner, man. You know, just, it's easy to harp on the negative, but maybe you can find something positive about them. But be prepared for that flip. I got to go, you guys. I'm ranting. Be prepared for that flip after marriage. I realized that most men, you know, we're kind of like the same. We stay the same before the marriage, after the marriage. But women, you know, they've been known to plot to get the ring, plot to get to the wedding, plot to get down the aisle, and then flip the script on you because now you're stuck and they got you by the balls. So that's all I got, you guys. Take care. Peace.